Welcome to 82 Toothpicks, a podcast from the Huizinga Law Firm. I'm Thad, and I'm joined by Ethan, Amber, and Jocelyn as we break down our favorite movies and uncover the estate planning gems hidden within them. From comedies and dramas to family sagas, we're talking about the films we love and the legacy lessons they teach. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's talk about the movie. Welcome back to another episode of 82 Toothpicks, everybody.
Woo!
We have a continuation of our Oscar nominees series here.
Yeah.
Ethan, what are we watching this week?
This week we watched Hamnet.
Hamnet. Whose idea was this?
Yes.
I think we all voted. And did we all pick Hamnet?
Yeah, Hamnet won.
Yeah.
It had four out of 4.
Nice. So, yeah.
Cool.
Group effort.
We kind of have been talking about doing, I have been talking about doing an Oscar nominee series for a couple of months. So I put together a poll and everybody voted on the ones they liked. Some of them were a little tougher to pick than others. So I think we've got some
edgier.
Yeah, we've got some good ones though coming.
Okay.
Starting with this one.
All right. At the time of recording, this one's still in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the first movie we've done like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really current.
No, I didn't go to a theater to see it because it's available to stream, but Amber, you did.
I did.
Okay.
Because I can.
Okay.
So I did.
I'm not sure. I mean, streaming it was not cheaper than watching it in the theater, I don't think. So.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
So we've been doing these movies for almost a year now, and was the experience of looking for estate planning themes in a movie different being in a theater compared to being on your couch?
Yes. But in a negative way because I was not looking. Because I was so distracted by being in the theater and eating my popcorn.
Like it's a whole different way to watch
it was
a
different
movie.
because like at home I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like just on my couch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels a little bit more easy to look for estate planning themes. But in the movie, you're locked in. It's just on this big screen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Were a lot of people there?
Nope. Actually, very few were there. It was just Luke and I in the whole theater.
Oh, man.
It was empty, bro. There was no one there.
Was it here in Orange City?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a Wednesday night
Was
or
it a
something.
Wednesday night? Yeah.
Yeah, no one was there.
Yeah,
Church night.
Everybody was at church night.
Oh,
Church.
how unholy of us.
I don't know. This movie was kind of worshipful. We can talk about that.
Okay.
later.
Except for the scene where the main character denies the Lord.
I'm interested who you think the main character is.
The
Yeah.
mom. What do you mean?
Well, the movie's
Wait,
not
what?
named The Mom.
Of course it's not named it, but that doesn't mean it's not about her. Field of Dreams isn't about a field.
Point of
That
fact.
is a great.
You know what?
Point of fact, Field of Dreams is fundamentally about a field.
It's not about the field. It's about the development of the characters
But is the field
around
the main
building
character?
the field.
The field is a character.
Okay, no, I of course I thought the mom was the main character. Why wouldn't you? I didn't even consider it.
It's definitely something we need to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it. Who's the main character then?
I feel like it's tough because you could nominate a lot of characters from this movie.
Oh, when I say the mom, I mean Agnes, right?
Is that how you said her name? I could never
Agnes.
figure it out.
Agnes.
How do you say it?
Agnes.
Agnes?
Agnes.
Well,
That's how
I
they
would
say it
agree
in
with
the movie.
Thad that she's probably the main character.
It's spelled Agnes. Yes.
But it's pronounced Agnes.
Wow. They just had to do that to us.
Okay.
Complicated.
Yeah, and so I'm actually not, I don't want you to hear me arguing with you.
No, that's fine.
But there was a couple of times throughout this movie where I thought, we're supposed to be experiencing the mom, not following her story.
Okay.
And I just thought that was an interesting way to approach
Yeah.
her character and how the story kind of does revolve around her.
Right.
In that way. So that makes her kind of the main character, but it wasn't her story per se.
Yeah. Historically,
okay.
this is a story from Shakespeare's life, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
We know very little about his wife, actually. in history.
But I thought that was the point of the movie, though.
Is to like learn more about her.
About her
mom.
family, her situation, the events in her life that led to Shakespeare writing the play. And then the final 30 minutes is her watching a play.
You don't think the story was about the events in Shakespeare's life that led to him writing a play?
He wasn't even in half the movie.
That's true.
He was gone. He was in London, and she talks about it over and over. Like, you weren't here to experience this, right? Oh, okay. Let's dive in.
I think you're getting rage baited, Thad.
A little. I knew your experience of this film was going to be so different from mine.
Really?
Or Amber's, yeah.
Okay, so the movie opens up, and she has this pet that she's hanging out with, right?
Her bird.
Right, and this guy finds her and asks her about her, and she talks about where her mom came from, how she got into aviary, I guess, and botany. I don't know. So she has that.
She's a pilot.
And then they
falconry.
Then they hook up, and then we have the scene with her and her brother where her brother essentially has to give her to this other family, right? And then we see her give birth 3 times. And then she has this argument knowing that her husband needs to go to London, doesn't want him to go, but then pushes him to go because that's how she needs to experience it. Then it's her raising her kids kind of by herself because her husband's out in London, right? And then she goes to London to visit, but she has this whole drama about leaving the house that she thought she was going to die in after her kid dies, right?
Ugh.
Like, the whole movie's from her perspective. How is she not the main character? I don't get that. I didn't even know this was a question.
I don't get that. I mean, I agree with you.
Okay.
I just told you she's probably the main character.
Okay.
I just don't think it's as what you just described was not my experience of the movie.
Okay, so do you think there can be a main character where the movie isn't about them?
Sure.
Okay.
So, if the mom is not the main character, or if we're not supposed to experience the whole movie through her eyes, what character would you pick then?
So I experienced this film much more from I'm going to call it a literary perspective.
Okay.
So not all stories are told for the purpose of a character. Sometimes stories are told for the purpose of the story. Sometimes stories are told for the purpose of the symbolism. And there are characters, and the characters play a role in helping you define and unwrap and unpack the symbolism. But she's definitely the primary character.
Okay.
But I think that's different than saying that she was the point of the story.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
So there's a little
Let's
agency in this one, you're saying?
maybe.
Okay.
Let's go back, because I mean there's just a ton here.
Okay.
The film opens with her and her falcon.
Uh-huh.
And the
It's
falcon.
a hawk.
Sure.
She even says
Bird.
I found it in my port.
Wrong movie.
Correct. Iron Man 2. That bird comes back several times in the film. What's the point of the bird? Is the bird something that's about her? I mean, I think fundamentally no.
Huh.
What's the point of the bird?
I would say it would be her unique connection with nature.
Okay. That's certainly part of it.
They had a funeral for a
I was
bird.
gonna say. There's that
You've never had a
scene
funeral for a pet?
where she
I've
and all
had
her
so many.
kids and her husband are gathered around the bird after it died.
Okay.
Outside the mouth of this huge gaping hole in the forest, which, speaking of symbolism, that came up several times.
I'm saving that one. Because that's definitely a big part of this story.
So she's sitting with her 3 kids around this bird, and the bird was the thing that was there that brought her and Will, and the Will in question is William Shakespeare. But the bird is the thing that brought them together because he watched her catch it and then went out to find her after watching her call her bird back.
And then what she says to Hamnet.
And the bird is there
Look up
when
in the sky,
she is.
and he looks up and she says,
Yep.
The bird will always be.
Yep. But
there.
the bird is there in every key moment of this relationship with her. It's even sitting in the barn when they are
Boinking.
Yes. Right?
Mhm.
And like this bird is there throughout the whole thing, and then she's burying it with her children, and then they like she's tossing the bird's spirit up into the air, basically. And then we already mentioned that their son dies, and after he dies and he's
Beyond the veil.
beyond the veil, then he is watching the bird
Yeah.
circle,
He's
and the bird eventually
not
comes back to
accompanied
him.
necessarily initially, but he sees the bird
Yeah.
flying overhead, and
Oh my gosh. I did not put that together till just now.
Yeah.
I was so
So-
distraught. I was not processing. I was like, what
there's-
is happening?
That's just one example, right? The story is about her, but it's not really.
Yeah.
But
She's the character you follow the most
correct.
throughout the,
Yeah,
the
she
film.
she is absolutely brilliant in this film.
Yeah.
She's nominated for Best Actress.
Yeah.
So main character, depending on your perspective.
Sure. So we've talked about this before on the podcast then. So the Goodwill Hunting episode, it was, what's the point of this? And I said, it's about these two guys, right? Like I couldn't believe you didn't see it the same way I saw it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like my purpose in watching movies is all character,
Sure.
less symbolism, less story.
That's
Yeah.
a very reasonable way to approach
Yeah.
story,
Yep.
right? I'm
Sure.
I'm coming into this book, I'm coming into this film,
Yeah.
I'm coming into this situation where a play could be right, a musical, whatever. I'm focusing on the characters versus I'm focusing on the events versus I'm right, and it's just it's your way of processing what you're seeing.
Yeah. And that's probably, so this could be an interesting episode because we've got some literature majors and some theater background and some things in this room.
Ha.
But the,
And I was an anthropology major.
and then
which
we
is
have
all
that.
people based.
Probably part of why you focus on people.
But that focus on the people and finding, like, every time we start an episode, Thad says, so what was this story? What happened? Finding that storyline, that is what we call the everyman approach. How's the average person going to see and hear and experience
the
this
typical
story?
consumer
Yep.
of this media.
And then you have the weird literary artsy people like me who are like, oh my goodness, every moment of this movie meant something 12 different ways, and I am going to have to watch it 47 times to figure out everything that happened in this movie.
Spoiler alert. Amber's rating.
Okay.
Yeah, so you talked about Goodwill Hunting, right? And how I said I did not know what the point of this movie was.
Right.
And until I did, and I
Sure.
understood kind of like, okay, this is not a story being told. This is these guys figuring out who they are.
Sure.
Right? And helping each other heal and things like that. So in this movie, it took me a long time to figure out what was going on, but not in a, I don't understand what's happening on the screen, in a, I don't understand why what is happening on the screen is happening.
I experienced that too.
And I got about a third to maybe 40% of the way into the movie and went, oh.
Everything in this has been developing into something.
Yep.
But it had a very slow, like,
almost choppy
almost
start. I would
quiet,
say.
Yeah.
like, is anything actually happening in this movie kind of a start?
Well, and how long did it take before we met Hamnet?
Yeah.
And I
A
didn't
long
figure
way.
out that the guy that Agnes and Will, because I didn't even catch that his name was Will until they introduced him.
Yeah, I
at the
think he's only
Globe.
called Will like twice in the whole movie. Like,
They hardly ever
I
say
did
his name.
not figure out that he was going to be William Shakespeare
Oh, really?
until 2/3 of the way into the movie, because I didn't know that
Yeah.
the story was going to be William Shakespeare and Hamnet. I knew it was based on Hamnet and telling, right? It could have been a dramatization because William Shakespeare wasn't married to Agnes; he was married to Anne Hathaway.
yeah.
Which was his cousin.
Weird, right?
I mean, they kinda did that back
so
then.
like there was all this stuff that I was processing.
Hathaway.
And
Yeah, the
and
actress.
Wait, so
Womp, womp,
sorry.
womp.
They had a line 2 minutes into the movie where the guy's basically like, "You're worthless. You don't have a trade." And I was like, "Oh, that's got to be Bill Shakespeare." Like he's teaching Latin, and they're all making fun of him for being a writer. Like,
Yeah.
Well, but later he's learning how to make gloves,
Mhm.
right? And he goes
Yeah.
to London to make gloves.
I
For
didn't think
the
that's why he
plays,
went.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why he went to London
for the theater.
I thought, well, so he has that scene where he's at the desk and he can't get through the writing, and she's like, "That's because you're in the wrong setting." Like,
Yeah.
I
You
think
need
he
to go
wrote in
there
his
to be a
spare
writer.
time, and making gloves was his main
Yeah,
trade.
because he was
Yeah.
an educator. He was a teacher, and he was an academic,
right?
Yep.
and so he was writing because he's an academic. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
what I'm
thought that's
saying.
what
Like
his job was. Not
I
the
did
glove
not.
making.
I did not get to. This is in fact about William Shakespeare
Yeah.
until later in the movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's some other cool stuff. How about all the mysticism?
Explain.
At the very beginning, not like the first scene, but pretty early, the village is talking about how Agnes is a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's chanting through the whole thing, and her herbs that you watch her learn how to cut and mash the herbs from her
Yeah, and then she's teaching
mother and grandmother, and
the
then
kids
she's
how to-
teaching the kids how
rub
to.
the herbs in their hands and figure out what they are.
Yep. And what are they for? And what are they?
Well, and she's very mysterious because she comes out of the woods and she wants to go have her children. She wants to give birth in the woods.
Yep.
And if you know anything about literary themes and literary symbolism, the woods is a almost trope level
Yeah.
method of showing a connection to nature. The woods represent that, right?
Yep.
In almost every setting that they're used. So for her to go out into the woods and give birth, and then for her not to be allowed to give birth in the woods,
Yep.
and then
Because the river was coming, and then the river came to her.
yeah, and she was terrified
Yep.
because the river represents the chaos.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, this movie is thick
Yeah.
Yeah.
with symbolism.
I just looked at that and said, "Oh, it's raining.
Yeah.
The streets are flooding."
So
Yeah, I
then,
remember thinking like they should put some towels down.
They should put some towels down.
so then the mysticism comes into play in a different way because she has twins, and they don't realize she's going to have twins until she's still
Yeah, and
in
she
labor.
sees the future a little bit, and she's like, "I never saw this. I never saw this."
Yeah.
And
Didn't she say she saw two kids
Yep.
at her side
at her
while she
side
was
when she
dying?
was dying.
Yep.
And then it turns out that it wasn't her dying. It was Hamnet dying.
Brother.
Woof. So,
That was so sad.
then she sees the future, and then she's holding this child, and she's calling the child back from beyond the veil, and the baby starts to breathe and fuss, and so then she has twins.
Yeah.
And then later, Hamnet, when his sister, whose name I don't recall, Judith, thank you,
Yeah.
gets sick. Judith gets sick, and very
gets
sick.
the plague.
They're like it's going to be the pestilence, they call it.
Black Death.
Yep. And he goes and lays next to her and takes the sickness from her.
Yeah. Okay. I don't get that part.
Mysticism. That's what all
Yep.
of this is tied to that mysticism. The cave
Yep.
represents that. The doorway, when Hamnet is beyond the veil, and then paralleling that to the doorway on stage when Shakespeare walks back off stage.
Yeah.
He's walking through that same open black opening. And
Yep.
like it's oh man, that's so
Yeah.
much.
There's a
so many layers and pictures and
And then when you see Hamnet like after he dies, and there's that veil between the camera and him.
That's really cool now that I
Yeah.
know what that was. I was just
Yep.
annoyed. I'm like, I can't see.
There,
it now.
all
Okay.
that mysticism of the beyond, right? With the bird, the hawk being there, and he's experiencing and trying to figure out, where am I and what is this place? And then there's this door, and oh man,
Yeah.
so much, so much.
yeah.
Wow, this got cooler all of a sudden in this movie now that I know what's going on.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
it was.
we're both, Amber and I are both English majors. We were both English majors in college. So I've read all kinds of crazy books that we had to figure out the symbolism in. And so it takes practice. Like you gotta work at it.
Yeah.
The symbolism that I picked up on at the very end is when she reaches out to the actor's hand and gets to hold his hand, and he's playing Hamnet, but she didn't get to hold her son's hand as he was dying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was the symbolism that I picked up on the most.
Yep.
That's
That was-
And
probably
that wrecked me.
that's
Really
probably
great
where
moment.
we broke.
Oh yeah.
Amber and I.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, maybe before that too, a little bit for you, but like I could feel this tension building, and then that release in that
Yeah.
moment is like,
Yep.
oh my goodness. Dad, what did Trista think?
Oh no.
I mean,
Oh Trista.
Sorry, Trista.
she, she cried a lot, obviously. But she asked a lot more questions. She didn't know anything about Shakespeare. She had never seen the play. She didn't understand the historical context. Because those just aren't her.
Yeah, I mean,
Her
if you don't
topic,
don't run in that circle,
Yep.
you're not gonna.
Yeah.
So we found ourselves pausing it because I'd read Hamlet and I kind of knew what was going on context wise. So 3 or 4 times throughout the movie, I was pausing it and saying, "Hey, they're setting this up. Like he's having this question because it's going to be in the play later, right?"
Yep.
Yeah.
So a lot of what Trista thought was probably confusion, but then okay, this is at least going somewhere. Because if you have no context on this movie, it kind of dives in, and you have to be like, "Who are these people? Why are they doing
It does
this?"
have a lot of like if you know, you would see way more out of it.
Right. There's a scene where he's sitting at his desk and his wife's talking to him, and he basically says, like, our son can't go from being with us and being alive to just not existing. Like,
Yeah, like they talk about where did he go?
yeah. What does it mean to be, right? And for somebody who's never seen this before or never has no experience, they would say, okay, that's an interesting question. And it's like, that's not the question. That's not what they're really doing right here.
To
Right.
be
Yeah, exactly.
or not to be.
Right.
Yes. And there were things all through it that had that. If you know, I loved the part that the 3 kids are playing in the garden.
Oh yeah.
And they become the witches from Macbeth
yeah.
for a few minutes there. But there's pieces of, that they didn't say to be or not to be,
Right.
but they said to be or not to be
Right.
in that moment.
That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler. I better stop. I'll do
Yep.
the whole thing.
We have a game, Amber.
Yeah. So this game is called Shakespeare or Not.
Oh,
Shakespeare wrote a lot of things, and there are a lot of things that we say today that come from Shakespeare that we don't even know is from Shakespeare. So I have a list of like phrases, and you guys get to vote. Is this Shakespeare or not? And then if there is, it is. And you can correctly guess which Shakespeare play, you'll get an extra point.
Okay.
I would not know, so I would be guessing too. So don't feel like, oh, I don't know any of this. That part is mostly guessing.
Right.
All right.
clarifying question: do we all have to agree on Shakespeare or not, or is this just an
Nope, you
individual?
can individually vote.
Okay.
And I will
Okay.
try and write down who's right.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Number 1 is break the ice.
I don't think so.
Shakespeare.
I think it's Shakespeare.
It is Shakespeare.
Dang it.
Ha ha.
Anyone
the
want to
play?
guess? The play.
I think I know like 4.
King Lear.
Incorrect.
Romeo and Juliet.
This is from The Taming of the Shrew.
Oh, nice. 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yes.
Go listen to the episode.
Shameless self-plug.
You betcha.
Number 2, the early bird catches the worm.
No.
Shakespeare.
I'm going to say yes again.
That one is not
Oh.
Shakespeare.
Okay, Thad, guess
Thad
the
gets
play.
the play on that one.
Is it a hawk?
The early hawk gets the worm.
Number 3, the green-eyed monster.
Not Shakespeare.
I'm going to say no.
Shakespeare.
This one is Shakespeare.
Dang
What?
Ethan, you want to guess the play for the extra point?
I'm going to go with King Lear again.
That one is from Othello.
Because that one, King Lear is about jealousy.
What's
It
Othello?
is. Othello?
Never even heard of that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know what's a thell with you.
Okay.
Right, Timon.
Number 4, practice makes perfect.
No.
Not Shakespeare.
No. Yes.
That one is not Shakespeare. So all 3 of
I think
you.
it's John Wooden.
Did you know that when you put your initials together, you guys end up spelling eat?
Yes.
Cool.
Anyway, sorry. How about actions speak louder than words?
Shakespeare.
Yeah, I like Shakespeare.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with it.
That one is not
Dang it.
Shakespeare,
Gosh.
so no
Sad.
points on that one.
I think I've gotten one.
That's okay.
No, you got 2.
Got 2.
Okay.
How about Wild Goose Chase?
Yes.
That sounds like a goofy Shakespeare thing.
I agree.
That one is Shakespeare. Anyone
And
want to
it's from
get
Twelfth Night.
guess the
Ooh, I like that guess.
I've been saving that one.
Comedy of Errors.
Macbeth.
that one is Romeo and Juliet.
Dang it.
There's so many plays to
I
pick from.
know. He has to stop writing so many plays.
Well, he did stop.
I know.
He
He's
did.
done.
He did stop.
He's done. He's retired.
No, they probably wrote a bunch that are unpublished. We're going to find him somewhere.
I gotta
He
find
had
him.
a play that was unfinished.
Yeah.
Because he died before he could finish it? Or he just never picked it back up?
This is a
He just
side
wasn't a
note.
T.
After both being literature majors, there was one point when Ethan and I were moving out of St. Louis
Oh.
that we owned 6 copies of the complete works of Shakespeare
Why?
Between the two of you?
between the 2 of us.
Why didn't you just toss them?
We gave them as white elephant gifts.
There you go.
Oh,
at
that's
Several
perfect.
Christmas parties
It's
that
the
year.
same thing.
We could do that more than once.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, Amber was in theater too, so she got one for Christmas one year. Things
Wonder
like
if I
that.
can Amazon such a thing.
I think we still have 2 copies, so if you want one.
I kind of do. We'll talk later.
Okay. The world is my oyster.
Oh, that's Shakespeare.
No.
I think it is. He likes oysters.
That one is Shakespeare.
Dang it.
Okay.
12th Night.
Hamlet.
This is another odd one. The Merry Wives of Windsor.
Oh. So there was a time when I had read every single Shakespeare play that was not a history.
Yeah.
So he has different categories: comedies, tragedies, and his histories.
I didn't know he did histories.
I have not read his histories, but I have read all of his other work.
Yeah.
At least his other plays, because he's
Dang.
got sonnets and poems and all kinds of stuff. But
How about In a Pickle?
No.
I'm going to
Yes.
say no.
Ethan is correct.
Oh, my.
this guy's prolific, man. Like
Yeah.
he
In
wrote
a pickle?
so
In a pickle.
many-
Why did he look at a pickle and go, yep, this symbolizes a
Okay,
problem
Ethan,
that
what
you're
play?
having?
The Tempest.
It is from The Tempest for the extra point.
You should give him 2
Nice.
just because he was so confident with that. He knew it was right.
The Tempest is my favorite Shakespeare play.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I once got to watch The Tempest in a rainstorm outdoors.
Was it good vibes?
The whole play takes place during a rainstorm.
Oh, for real?
So when you're sitting out there in the rain,
In like pouring rain.
in pouring rain, and the whole play
The
is
director was
about
just like, I deserve an award for picking this date. The special effects were insane at this one.
That's
they
crazy.
were. It was crazy. We were soaked by the end, but it was cool. On that note, the next line is "When it rains, it pours."
No, that's not
No,
Shakespeare.
not
Nope.
Shakespeare.
Nope.
That is not Shakespeare.
That's a country song.
How about
That's Luke
beggars
Combs.
can't be choosers?
That's Luke Combs.
Shakespeare.
I like that one for Shakespeare.
Yeah, me too.
You are all incorrect.
it.
I like when Thad just jumps on. He's like, yeah, we do it, and it's wrong. And then we all get sad.
It's Greek to me.
Yes.
Shakespeare.
No.
That one is Shakespeare.
Twelfth Night again.
That one would make sense.
Sure.
I just watched 12th Night.
Talked about the histories. This is from Julius Caesar.
Well, that's why I didn't know it.
That's Greek.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
That's
I know that
gotta
for a
be
fact.
our
That's got
boy
to be
William
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
That's Bill.
It is not.
Dang it.
What?
Not Bill. Who said that?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't have the other.
No, I
written
don't
down?
have the other
That's okay.
credits. A lot of them are just like through developed language and things
Yeah.
like that are not specific quotes.
That's probably
Maybe it was another
Aristotle or
country
something.
singer like Luke Combs.
Oh, one fell swoop.
I'm gonna say not.
Yes.
Yes.
Thad and Ethan are correct. What's it from?
Hamlet.
Macbeth.
It is Macbeth.
Booyah.
Booyakasha.
I was
can't
pretty confident about that.
Judge
one.
a book by its cover.
No.
That sounds like Bill.
I didn't have books then.
He was tutoring at the beginning of the movie with a book.
They're using scrolls.
Thank the Phoenicians.
Oh my word.
Um.
My word. They didn't have books.
Yeah. Shakespeare.
That one is not.
Are you kidding
I was
me?
going with Comedy of Errors.
The last one.
The
be all and the end all.
Sure.
That sounds Shakespeare-y.
Yeah.
That one is Shakespeare. Anyone want to wager a
12th
guess?
Night.
Romeo and Juliet.
Hamlet.
Macbeth.
Again with the Macbeth.
Again with the Macbeth.
It sounded,
was
it
tricky.
sounded like
That
a
one is
tragedy.
actually full of them. If you
Yeah, I believe that.
know, there are so many sayings that came from Macbeth.
Oh, man.
Like 4.
Like 4? Like golfing?
Yeah.
4.
Some of these I skipped because I didn't think they were like super common phrases.
The only phrase I know is the phrase "you got to table those chairs," because up until Shakespeare, table was a noun, and he was like, "I'm going to use it as a verb." It's not like the phrase, like in a meeting, if you're going to
Is
table
this
something,
true?
you can
Gonna
label.
table
Yeah.
something?
Are
Yeah.
you being real right now?
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
lying.
So anyway,
You're right. Just made that one up.
You're just
right
lying on
now.
the podcast.
On the spot.
Yeah.
I think Ethan took that one,
Well, yeah.
but
It's okay.
I've
Well
dragged
deserved.
him to just a
I'll
few
win the next
Shakespeare
one.
plays.
I think I only answered no like twice.
My default was no.
I didn't have a default. I went where the spirit led me.
Oh my gosh. Get out of here with that. Thanks for the game, Amber.
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Huh? What'd you say?
I said that was Shakespeare, right?
Yes.
Spirit led me. Yeah.
Okay. All right, time to talk about some estate planning stuff.
Oh yeah.
Chocked full of them.
I always like to hear what you guys have to say about this before I chime in. So I'll go last.
You said chock full of them.
Yep.
What'd you see?
There's kind of a dramatic scene where Agnes is about to move to London and she's talking to her stepmom, or the person who kind of took over when her mom died. She has this
Oh,
line.
yeah.
She says, "You're not my mom and you never were."
Uh-huh.
Right. So I guess kind of this rejection of legacy almost. Like, I don't want to be a part of your family.
Uh-huh.
Even though it was kind of forced on me when I was young.
Yep.
So I think that one played a big role in her decision making.
That relationship is so interesting in this movie because, you know, her stepmom comes over to her at that point, you know, almost in a not conciliatory. She's clearly grieving.
Sure.
Anya says still because Hamnet died, and her stepmother comes over, and is like you can see there's distance between them in the shot,
Yeah.
and Agnes is just done. Like, I'm done with all of this. I'm done with you and your horribleness to me. And it seems like her stepmom is aiming for reconciliation.
Yep.
Trying to care for her in a way. And Agnes is just like, we're not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I had a few thoughts on that. The first one I'm going to say is, I think if you had to force me to say what is this movie about? I think this movie is ultimately about grief and the after effects of loss. And I think there's a lot. I mean, our whole practice here is either planning for what happens when you die or doing the what happens when you die. And so we have lots of conversations with people in different phases of grief, whether it's been a couple of years since my mom died and we're wrapping up the probate, or it's mom died last week or sometimes today. Mom died today.
I'm calling you from the hospital.
And I'm calling you from the hospital. Please go deal with your family and then call us in a few days. But you feel like you have to do something.
Yeah.
And we see all of those different layers of grief and loss in our work here. So that was one that I
had a client one time, probably 6-7 years ago now, who came to a seminar and came in after the seminar, and we did some estate planning for him. But we did the estate planning for him. When he came in first, he came in with his wife. And after that initial consultation, his wife died. So he waited and settled out kind of her stuff. And then about 5 months after their initial, 5-6 months after their initial consult, he came back. And he came to a Legacy Guard event that we had that year where we did a cooking class. And we had somebody come in and teach us how to make a couple of fun appetizers. And then we got to enjoy the appetizers afterwards with the Legacy Guard members who were there. And I was talking to him at that event, and he said, I regret doing the work that I did on my estate plan when I did it, because I was not emotionally competent, even though I was mentally competent to make those decisions. And I didn't really understand what I was doing because I was still in the middle of the grieving process. I thought that was really, really interesting. Yeah. From his perspective. He wasn't saying it to me like I had done something wrong. He was saying, I should have waited. And you helped me figure out that what we were going to do, but I don't feel the same way today as I did then. And now, of course, you can change your mind and always update things later because you feel differently about stuff. But it was just a really interesting perspective to hear from somebody who was in that grieving moment and also doing legal work and say, I should not have done that.
Yeah. Interesting. And then the other thing I saw, Thad talked about the moment of almost legacy rejection, but there's this other piece of the legacy ultimately the movie or the play Hamlet is a legacy that Shakespeare is giving to his dead son.
Right.
When we talk to, and I'm not ever the person who does it, but when we talk to parents who have lost a child, even if that was 20 years ago, you and I had this conversation about asking them, how can we, you have more children than are living on this earth right now. How do we make them meaningful in this legacy that you are trying to pass on? And the whole post-Hamnet's death, Shakespeare's entire drive, you feel like he's leaving again so soon, but he just has this need to give this legacy back to his dead son. How do I make Hamnet live forever? And he did, because Hamlet is hundreds of years later the most well known. Hamlet and Macbeth, probably. If you have nothing to do with the theater, you would still have heard of those two plays. And the idea of how do you give a legacy to someone who didn't get to build their own?
That was beautifully spoken.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Anything else?
Well, I feel like we kind of touched on this a little bit, but like the idea of like emotional capacity, I feel like the mom kind of displays that a little bit. Like you don't feel like she's always exactly stable. So then thinking about like the choices that, she's making for their family. Not that she does anything, I don't think estate planning wise, but like, I don't know. Sometimes I had that thought while watching it. I'm like, I don't think she's in the right headspace right now.
Yeah. You even see her daughter, even though her daughter isn't very old, the older one kind of steps into responsibility in her mom's place.
Yeah.
In several places because her mom just isn't making those responsible choices at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where did the kids go when Anies goes to London?
I had that thought too. Did she move or did she just go visit?
I don't think she moved. I think she went to find her husband.
Yeah. But then she took her brother with her, which is like the most trusted member of her family. So where are the kids?
Right.
Yeah.
So that whole scene that sets up that she's going to London, when they figure out that the play that's going up is not a comedy, and Will never told them that, and it turns out it's this tragedy named after their son, and she's like, "Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna kill him." So, and that's why she goes, and then she goes into the theater, and she's in the crowd as this performance is happening, and yeah, it's just
like yelling at people to stop saying his name. And,
yeah.
Don't talk about my son.
And ultimately, it's so healing,
right? And then at the end, that moment that you were talking about,
where
she reaches out, and then the whole audience is reaching out.
That was really cool.
It was just, it was really powerful. I think you guys touched on it. We spent a lot of time right after we watched this movie decompressing because it is
really, really, really emotionally heavy for most of this movie.
But we talked a lot about what legacy, and this is, I think, the first movie we've watched where we still experience the legacy. And in fact, the story of this film is, at least in part, how did we get to a place where we're still talking about the story of this film, right? Because it's about Hamnet and how we came to have this play called Hamlet that's performed on stages across the globe every year. Like, how incredible.
Hamlet was the last play I costumed at Northwestern before joining
the law firm.
The law firm.
Yeah.
So
I went to watch that one.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was good.
I think the one that we haven't really touched on specifically in the estate planning context is what happens after you die.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not in a financial way. This is right. We see Hamnet beyond the veil, right? We've talked about that a couple times. What happens when I die? And then that spins into everything with what Will does, writing the play and all of that. But that's a very real theme.
The to be or not to be question.
Yeah, correct.
We ready to rate it?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right. I developed a rating system. We all know it by now.
Yep.
So I just want to dive in.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, hit it.
Okay. We talked about how we all cried through this movie, so cry. We're going to start with that one. Obviously gets a 3. We have been talking about this movie for days afterwards, which gives it a 3 on the think. And I'm going to surprise you guys, but I don't know that I laughed out loud in this movie ever. But if you're familiar with the term catharsis is when a piece of art takes you through the reality and negative emotions in life in a way that makes you feel better and put back together
Positive
afterwards. And because I felt so good after watching this movie, I felt cleansed. I actually felt happy and fulfilled. And this was a tragic movie. I'm going to give it a 3 for laugh, in spite of the fact that I did not laugh, because this movie made me feel so good watching it.
Okay.
Because of that catharsis. And I absolutely would watch it again. This might be the best movie I have seen in my lifetime.
Wow, that's a 10 from Amber.
So I'm going to give it a 10.
High praise.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She loves this movie.
I did love this movie.
Is that why you guys bought it?
We bought it not knowing I was going to love it that much.
Well, now you have it, though.
Do you think it should win Best Picture?
Perfect.
It's hard to say having
not seen the other ones, but
I don't know how
it would
doesn't.
be. In my mind, this is hard to beat.
You said several times watching this movie that she deserves Best Actress.
I did, yeah. Watching Anya's.
She was
phenomenal.
I absolutely think the range of acting in this. And she didn't say a lot, and you never doubted what she was thinking or feeling at any point in that movie. So, yes, very high praise from me on this one. This hit every point for me.
Wow.
So,
all right.
There's
Sweet.
that.
Cool. Who's next?
I can go next. I have Cry at a 3.
Okay.
Which I feel like is very justified. Think at a 3. I did have it originally when I was thinking about my ratings at a 2, but now that we're talking about it here on the podcast, I'm like, I missed a lot of things, and now I need to think about them again, so I'm bumping it up to a 3. Laugh I have at 1 because I didn't go through the experience that Amber did afterward, being like, yeah, I feel happy. I'm like, I'm sad and I'm drained. I want to go home and watch Parks and Rec. And so I leave it at a 1. I'm leaving it at a 1, but I would watch it again. So there's another point.
That's an 8.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Ethan?
We said as we were decompressing after this movie that we need to stop watching movies that make me cry, because I'm sick of it.
I'm done.
I don't like crying. I don't want to cry.
I cry over everything, and I'm used to it.
I cried at the end of this movie.
Ethan's not there yet.
It just built up and built up and built up. Got all the way to the end scene where the crowd reaches out with her, and I just was like, well, that's it for me.
There we go.
And then him standing behind off stage and looking out at her and her looking at him, and oh man, woof. So 3 for Cry. 3 for Think, because I was trying to figure this movie out the whole time. Like,
from the first picture.
What does that mean? Why is that? What does that mean? How are those connected? The whole movie. It felt like a mystery to me until about halfway through. So Think gets a 3. And I'm going to give it a 3 laugh too. And I did laugh out loud at places. I experienced the joy that Agnes and Will experienced when the kids were running around being goofy in the garden, and when she was teaching them about the herbs, and the beauty of when they're saying goodbye to this bird, which is such a minor thing, except if you see the symbolism through the whole movie of this bird keeps coming back in certain ways. I mean, I smiled and laughed multiple times, and I would watch it again.
10 from Ethan too.
10 from me.
Wow.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time. This was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, time for Thad to kill the moon.
Yep. I knew you would. It's okay.
Give me a 2 for Cry, just because there is tragedy throughout. 2 for Think, the symbolism, the projection forward, the uniqueness of the society that they were in. 0 for Laugh. I don't think at any point I even smiled during this movie, which is tough. I didn't experience the catharsis.
Yep, catharsis.
Okay. It's not Catholicism.
That didn't feel Catholic.
There might have been some of that in there too.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
I would not watch this one again.
Really?
So yeah, this one was not offensive to me, but
just
it was not the experience I would choose. So, all right, that's it.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on the movie?
I feel like I need to go rewatch it again now that I'm understanding things, and it'll be more beautiful.
Yeah.
Rewatching.
Pay attention to that symbolism.
Yeah.
It adds so much depth.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's cool.
That's cool.
All right. Thanks,
All
everyone.
right.
All right.
Bye.
See you next time. Thanks for tuning in to 82 Toothpicks. This episode featured your hosts, Ethan, Jocelyn, Amber, and Thad, breaking down the movie. Want more? Check out Ethan's book, It's Not Too Late, for insights on securing your own legacy. Visit us at heisingalaw.com for all things 82 Toothpicks, including past episodes and more. If you enjoyed the show, follow us wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Remember, every movie is an estate planning.